Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at a Darkfeast bat list. Really, Darkfeast bat has had very little change almost ever in the last probably full expansion or so. Really, we're running Kiss of Lust. That's something that isn't run all the time and not really a necessity. It's just kind of a nice one, especially with the current cards that are popping up. Dealing 2 damage to them really does make a big difference. And of course Unleash Nightmare, which has become pretty much a stock standard in this sort of deck for quite a while, and is also pretty popular in the Mech Blood deck since it does just as good a job there. So really overall, we're just playing some Darkfeast bat. The only real things that change now are numbers, so there are only 2 Florist, 2 Darkfeast bat in this variation. Everything else is pretty much a 3 of, I think, although people tend to mess around with those sort of numbers a lot. We are also running just 1 Disciple of Lust and 1 Kiss of Lust. Your main idea is obviously to secure the board and win with Darkfeast bat, which goes well, I would say, 50 to 60% range of the time. It's actually pretty decent deck, especially if you've already got most of the cards for it, and is only running, I think, 3 legendaries total. Yeah, so Vera at 3, Lust at 3, and the Darkfeast at 2 for a nice, neat little total of 8. So 8 legendaries, pretty stock standard. We're going to get right into this and check it out. So we're kicking us off. We are up against a Portal. Very respectable Portal decks. I mean, these days they pop up almost everywhere, at least. Not that they're super common, but when you come up against them, definitely got to show that little bit of respect to Portal. Playing something that at the moment isn't super heavy on the meta, although it does pop up occasionally. Definitely has my respect as someone who does love to play Portal. So turn 2, really don't have many options, unfortunately. This is the only problem I found with this deck so far, is that you can be limited on early game options, which isn't a huge shock, as there's a few things we've lost going into a few expansions that really made a huge difference. Darkfeast Bat Unlimited, on the other hand, has so much variety for early game that it's hard to choose. This is still fairly decent though. So a double Puppet attack. Blood Pact, that's okay for a draw, and really just 7 of Lust with the Restless Parish play to get our first Florus out. Our second one is in our hand, so we don't really need to worry about going for another one now. It's mainly just going to be playing out the rest of the game to secure victory. Which really shouldn't be that unrealistic at this point. I actually do have a Portal video that will be lined up to go up probably a couple videos after this one that should be a little bit of fun. So turn 5, now it's just a matter of picking what we want to do. We ended up getting the Darkfeast bat as well, which is really good. We can go for the Wings of Lust play with the Evo to both max out our health and take full advantage of this Disciple of Lust, getting us a fairly decent amount of pings. Unfortunately, we can't get another Florist, but since we are going to get enough healing, it's not really a problem. The main fact is we're boosting those Darkfeast bat fairly early and forcing them to have to deal with these followers. I found that was to be the most important thing right now, as far as things went. So, now that we've got the Florist playing a 7 of Lust, why not take them out for a swing? An extra Darkfeast bat as well. And we set ourselves up with some healing. I do decide to attack the 1-1 and leave up 3-6. Since, of course, our board is pretty decent and being able to secure some damage was definitely more valuable to me. I'll actually let them have free draw. Not really an issue for me right now. And even though they took that out, I mean, we've healed up enough that all we really need to do now is deal a little bit more self-damage. So Wings of Lust, and that will boost these up. I believe these Darkfeast bats are now in lethal territory. We were only a couple off, so I only needed that draw to go well, and it of course did, working in our favor to set up for a next turn win. I also suspected the odds of them being able to heal was going to be fairly low, so definitely set us up nicely for that victory. I really do love getting exact lethal with Darkfeast bat. Always feels absolutely glorious to get. So for our next game, we are playing against a Rune, as you can see, a nice Wizard of Oz leader. I do wish I had that one. Fortunately, I haven't had much gacha luck lately when it comes to alt leaders. I really hope that I can at least pull some in some point soon, especially portal leaders. I'm severely lacking in those, other than of course the bundle of leaders that I've bought. So our early game here is looking okay. I actually don't mind Alexandrite Demon on turn 2. It's a fairly solid play if you're going for anything, especially if you're going first. It really can give you a bit of an edge. So it's really not an issue when you go for that one.
Impressive technology.
And on the bright side here, we're looking at a pretty decent board. So just a small board that we can use to hopefully our fullest advantage. Going for a few more draws. Unfortunately now we do have the double florist in our hand, so that's kind of useless. But luckily that's not really our problem. We've already got set up enough cards to really aim for a lethal position. We just need to be able to get there, so we're reaching turn 8 and dealing enough self-damage is going to be the core of our game plan. We'll also of course dealing damage to the opponent to bring them down within that range. Plus the nice little florist healing is going to come in very, very handy.
Quite talkative for someone without a brain. This is where
Alright, Eleanor going for that play makes sense. They can wipe out both of these reasonably inexpensively.
My word is my bond.
And that really isn't a huge problem for us. We should hopefully be able to deal with this pretty easily, even if it costs us just a little. So a Blazing Sapphire draw, even if we're going to overgo, I don't mind at this point. All I can really do now is try and get us into the long game. Overdrawing was probably a bit of a mistake, honestly, but once you make those mistakes, all you've got to do is push forward with this deck. We've set up to at least survive this turn. Since trading a full-on Solomon into this definitely would not be a great idea. Fiery Embrace though, very respectable. Can't go wrong making that play. And that's a lot of spells. So it's this turn that becomes a little more interesting. So I decided to go for the Blood Pact play, plus the Unleash Nightmare play. Really just looking for whatever I can get my hands on. Evil Eye Demon ended up being okay to get. It does at least open up some chance, since we don't have the Valkyrie yet. And our Darkfeast bat really isn't doing great as far as self-damage either, so we're really drawing at straws here. So, not great situation to be in, but one that we're going to work through. So now it's just a matter of, can I get enough damage quick enough? So Razori is a good option, plus a little bit of self-damage. I believe that pushes us to 6. We are just 1 damage off, so we just need a good draw with only 17 cards left and 3 cards to help us out here, which are of course the single bat summons. I believe we've got 3 of them left in our deck. Our odds are actually pretty reasonable, out 1 in 5-ish, a little bit over that. I'm getting that pull. Although we did of course, they could have actually just straight up destroyed us there. They did miss that lethal, which does happen. I don't even feel like it was BAM. I feel like it was just poor setup and execution. They did make the misplay of not realizing they would have had lethal, playing the Solomons out, getting of course the cheap followers, and then working from there. At least that's how it felt to me, and unfortunately that was their undoing. So while Darkfeast Bat definitely isn't quite as good as it used to be, it is still an extremely powerful blood deck, and if you've already got the cards for it, go ahead and craft it up, give it a go and see how you perform. It's definitely worth at least giving it a shot. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button and subscribe. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Until next time guys, see ya.